So now we're going to get into shipping with WooCommerce, and similar to taxes, this can seem a little bit intimidating or a little bit complicated at first, but once you get the hang of it, it all becomes quite simple. And it works kind of the same way, in which that there are zones and different shipping classes or shipping zones that apply to people depending on where they are. So I'm going to, in order to get here, you go to settings and then we click on our shipping tab. And under this tab, you're going to be invited to create a shipping zone. And you'll notice underneath here that there is a kind of an everyone else grab all for everybody who doesn't apply for one of these. So you're going to see, when you first go to this page, you're going to see an invitation to create a shipping zone, and then you're going to see below here a kind of a grab all or a catch-all for everybody who doesn't fall under one of these other zones. So to create a shipping zone, we just click on this Add Shipping Zone, and we're going to say that this is, again, if we're based in California or wherever you are, then let's say we have a local shipping zone, and for me, we're going to say it's in California. And we're going to limit it to my zip code, which would be 90210, even though it's not. I wish it was, but it's not. And then we're going to determine which kinds of shipping we're going to allow there. So whether it be a flat rate, free shipping, or local pickup. So let's say that for people that are in my in my area, we're going to do a flat rate, and we're going to add local pickup. So there's going to be a flat rate if they're in my area, and I know pretty much what that's going to cost, and then I can go in and edit that rate and say that it's going to be $5 because it's pretty cheap for me to send to them. You can determine whether or not tax should be applied to that $5 to that shipping cost, and then click save. And then we'll do local pickup, and we'll say that is $0. So they're going to come pick it up themselves. So that's nothing. And then you could also add free shipping. So if you're offering free shipping to a certain area or certain people, whatever it is, you can add that as well. But for right now, we'll just do flat rate and local pickup, and that is limited to California in the zip code that people wish that they lived in. And then we're going to have those changes saved. So now we can go back to our shipping zones. And we'll see that our local is here with California 90210, and we have flat rate and local pickup. And now let's say that we're going to add a shipping zone for everybody else in the U.S. or everybody else in my country. So we'll say that we'll do domestic, and I'll limit that to the United States. And you can limit that to certain states or certain provinces or countries or regions. Everything is pretty much in there, and you can also limit it to certain zip codes and postcodes. And let's say that for this, we're not going to have local pickup. We're just going to have a flat rate, and we'll say that that's going to be, let's say, $20 to ship my item anywhere in the U.S. And you can usually, if you bring, or if you know the width and the height and the dimensions of the boxes that you're going to use to ship physical products, and you know the weight, you can usually go to your local post office or your local shipping company and ask them how much it's going to cost for each state, and then you could create a shipping zone for each state with that flat rate. So that's probably the easiest way to do it without actually buying an extension for a shipping company to get the exact rate for each person, and just kind of have that flat rate which covers everybody. You'll lose a couple pennies or gain a couple pennies, sometimes, but generally, if you know exactly what it's going to cost to send to the state, then you can set up zones for each place or each region, depending on who you're selling to and where you're from. So we're going to call that domestic, and that's saved. So now we go back to shipping zones, and we'll say, well, I'm in the US, but I'm also going to be shipping to Europe. And so we'll say anybody that is in Europe is going to have a flat rate of $30. It's a little bit more expensive to ship over there. And now we have that. So that is our shipping zones. Like I said, it seems a little bit complicated, but really isn't. Once you understand, it's a really good idea to get those local rates and the shipping rates for each place. Talk to your local post office or USPS or your local shipping company, and you should be able to get those flat rates determined, and then you don't have to worry about extensions or calculating shipping rates on the fly. However, if you are working with a shipping company specifically, you have a contract or something like that where it's very important that you get the exact rates. There are extensions for the major shipping companies that come with WordPress or with WooCommerce, but they're normally paid extensions. So ask your shipping company if they have a WooCommerce plugin available. Also check out the WooCommerce extensions on the website, and you'll see if your shipping company is posted. But if it's not posted there, it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have one. I've seen a couple of them that only list them on the website or in their client portals, so you can find out directly from them. And then it will, when a customer, based on their zip code and their information, it will determine the exact cost of their shipping and simply just add that on. But that is a bit more work, and it can be a bit more of a struggle to set up. So if you can get the flat rate prices, it'll be a lot less stress to just charge everybody a flat rate. But again, if you have a contract where you're saving money, for example, on shipping, then you might it might be more important to get those shipping rates calculated exactly. So now we have our shipping zones set up. So now we'll go to shipping options, and this has to do with calculations, the default shipping destination, and the debug mode, but you're not going to need that. So whether or not it's going to show a shipping calculator on the cart page, or whether it's going to hide those shipping costs until the address is entered, things like that, and what the default address should be. And then shipping classes, and this is a little bit different in the sense that this is if you have a product and it's going to be difficult to ship. So it's either really heavy, or it's very bulky, or it doesn't fit exactly in a normal shaped box, so that there's going to be extra costs associated with that. Then you can create shipping classes. And when you're creating a product, which we'll show you later in this series, you can apply this shipping class to it. So we know that product X is very bulky, and so we want to have a shipping class applied to it. So we'll say, bulky, this does not fit in a standard box, right? So now we know that this has a specific shipping class to it, and we can determine what the cost is for those. So now, sorry, let me just save that. So if I go back to shipping zones now, and I edit this, you'll see that if I go to my flat rate settings, so you'll have to do this per zone. So obviously I should have done that the other way. So you want to set up your shipping classes first if you have some special cases. And then when you're creating your zones, if you go into the settings that you've set up, you can then set a price for that bulky shipping class. And so that'll all be kind of handled automatically. So if you have flat rates in there for the different areas, you'll also, if you have these special shipping classes you need to apply, you could put those in there and then add in the price, however it might be set up. And that's it for shipping. If you're doing everything standard, it's quite easy to set up. The only thing that can make it a little bit more complicated is if, again, you have to calculate those prices on the fly. So when somebody's entering in their address, it will, through an API or a communication link between your website and your postal carrier's website, to calculate the exact shipping prices. That can be a little bit tricky. It depends if they have a WooCommerce plugin available, and you'll have to get some API connection information, things like that. We can't help you with that, unfortunately, because everybody's different and there's different companies. I don't think we'll be able to cover every one of those, but absolutely post in the forum and say help me, and we'll try to do that. But if you can get away with standard rates and some of the bulky shipping classes and things like that, you're going to save yourself the headaches. But again, the one benefit of doing it that way is if you ship a tremendous amount of items, if your e-store becomes very popular, it's very likely that you can negotiate discounts from your postal carrier, in which case you'd want to make sure that you're getting the exact price and save your customers a little bit more, a little bit of money, and also encourage them to purchase from you, because they're going to pay, $1 or $2 really makes a difference. So that is everything for shipping. So the next section coming up is going to be payment gateways, and we'll cover how to set those up and how to configure them, and more about the commercial extensions.